How's it going, guys? In the last episode, we tackled the throwing squares that I made in my first ever video here on YouTube, turned them into something actually pretty usable and epic, and it seemed like you guys enjoyed the video. So today we're going to tackle the first knife that I ever made. Here you go. Hope you guys like it. You know, I was actually really thinking, remaking all these old weapons, it really reminds me of Supremacy 1914, today's sponsor. Man, oh man, does it take me back to the days of slaughtering my aunts and uncles, my parents, my own brothers, playing Risk at the Christmas parties after dinner. Don't get it twisted though, Supremacy 1914 is a whole new animal. You take charge of your favorite nation in World War I, you manage resources, troops, and of course, sweet, sweet weaponry as you wage war against up to 500 real players per map. How nuts is that? There's like, what, 5 colors in Risk? It's just not the same, I can't go back. Here's a really cool part, Supremacy 1914 is a true cross-platform game. That means you never have to let the enemy catch you with your pants down. Just you switch over to mobile and you catch them with your pants down. That's a winning strat. You keep that between you and me, okay? If you sign up now using the link in my description, you get 15,000 free gold marks. I promise no one has ever offered you 15,000 free gold marks. I can't express how big of a deal this is for you guys. This is the opportunity of a lifetime. Thank you very much, Supremacy 1914, for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to it. Hi, so the story of the first ever knife-shaped object that I ever made and showed you on this channel is that it actually begins probably pretty much exactly where you would expect it to, with a piece of mild steel flat bar from the hardware store. What else would it have started with? Real knife-making material? Not a chance. Look at this guy. Does that look like a guy who knows what hardening and tempering steel is? Does that even look like a guy? No joke, at the time of filming that video, I literally could not have told you the difference between aluminum and steel, let alone steel and some kind of steel that would actually be good for making knives out of. So there I was, I had what I had. I buckled down with, again, my dad's Dremel tool. Oh, and I accidentally lied in the last video. I did not only have my dad's Dremel tool, I also had this old beast of a bench grinder. My dad saved it from getting thrown out at his warehouse job. This thing was nuts. It would take like a full minute to spin up. You had to start it with your hand, and when it was running, you could see like all kinds of sparks on the inside. It was pretty crazy. But thanks to that thing and my unparalleled commitment to my craft and perfectionism, that's what brought us the gorgeous bevel on that first knife. The crazy thing about that bevel, in spite of just being like an 1/8 inch, I still didn't even bring it all the way to the edge. It was just like flat zinc plate edge. And bro, when I tell you I thought I was bad, bro. I thought I was the stuff. I was like talking trash to this one kid who was like making bad homemade weapons, and I'm sitting there like, hey YouTube. The handle, I think I would literally struggle to figure out a worse way to make a handle these days. Of course, I cut a chunk out to make the handle more handle shapey. And then to add some thickness, some girth to the handle, I took that same punched out zinc plated flat bar that I made the throwing squares out of, and I cut it down the middle, and I sandwiched it on both sides, and I just wrapped it a trillion times in electrical tape. And there it is, the rest is history. So here's how non-lethal by choice makes a, oh my gosh, I think I called it a combat knife. You know, a combat knife. No, it actually strikes me more as like a Tanto made in prison. So I'm not making a combat knife. I made so many Bowie knives. I'm gonna go with the Tanto angle. And of course, no mild steel. We're using spring steel. I got too much of it anyways. Let's get forging. I'm gonna be upcycling one of the prods from my old prototype crossbow. As you're all well aware of, I completed that build a while ago. So the old prods are up for the taking and baking. So I'll just get the coal forge fired up, get to work. Something just happened to me that's never happened to me before. Here's the blade section I was working on, and oh, well, there's the tang. Normally I'm pretty good about this kind of thing, keeping track of the temperature of the steel and everything. Like I said, this has never happened to me before, but I almost don't even know where to go from here. I mean, I'd hate to have to restart, but I just don't know if I'm gonna have enough material to make the blade full-sized. All right, well, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. But I didn't do what I had to do. I did what I wanted to do, and in this case, that was build a whole entire treadle hammer, because I didn't feel like hand forging another spring. And boy, let me tell you, that was the move. Being able to finish this whole entire forging job in under 2 hours with no fatigue, that was nice. That was very nice. Now, I did have another mishap. Instead of snapping off the tang, I melted it off. So, I mean, it ends up being fine in the end. It works out, but just thought I'd let you know that in case you're like, why the heck does it look like that? But yeah, treadle hammer, very, very worth it. Definitely worth the time I put into it. If you want to make your own, please do check out the video. Link in the description. Alrighty, in spite of our little mishap at the bottom there, I'm really pretty sure I'll be able to salvage this. It is a little crumbly right down here where the bottom melted off, but as long as I'm really thorough about getting rid of any bad steel, I don't think we're gonna have any real trouble. So I'm just gonna go ahead and free grind the shape of this. Of course, cut the bottom off and also clip the end off right here so I can get that, you know, Tanto shape. Here's where we're at. Not bad for freehand, I gotta say. Just doing it from memory. I was able to get these edges nice and squared up, really uniform. Yeah, no complaints so far. The tears usually come with the beveling though. I don't know, I'm optimistic. I haven't messed up a bevel in a pretty long time. Flat grinding, let's get it done. Looking pretty good. Definitely okay with that being my first time ever freehanding a Tanto blade. That was, however, my first time using the treadle hammer for a real project, so there's a few spots, that one's kind of ugly, a few spots where I got a little overzealous, and this pit here is a little too deep where if I were to grind it away, the blade would just be way too thin. I hate to chalk it up to, ooh, it gives the blade character, ooh. But that's gonna have to do for now. Also, you're gonna see pretty quick, this is not a traditional Tanto at all. There's gonna be some unorthodox design choices here, but either way, I promise it's gonna look pretty good. Non-traditional design choice number one, I'm gonna do that choil? Yes, I am a real knife maker, blacksmith, man. So very bizarre, as I'm grinding, if I touch anything else that's metal, like this piece of tread plate next to the table, it shocks me. It's like, it just like lightly electrocutes me continuously. So obviously, just don't touch metal stuff, right? Problem solved. Well, the belt sander exploded. There's like sparks shooting out of it in the garage. It smells like a belt sander's ghost. So it's done. On the bright side, I guess it turns out that the bevel is finished quicker than I thought it was gonna be. So that's pretty cool. Awesome, no warping or anything. Here's one of the pieces that I cut off before it was hardened. And here it is hardened. Perfect. Oh, and also the tang, not hardened, also perfect. Okay, 375. And we're gonna go for 1 hour. Then when that time's out, we're gonna take it out, let it cool down, put it back in for another hour, same temperature. So now with our blade cooked to perfection, we can get to work on the handle. Now, as kind of a reference to the electrical tape, I'm going with ebony. It's a super nice black hardwood. And we're going with a brass bolster. I gotta do the brass. The gold looking color with the black, it just looks so stinking good. So here's how we go about the bolster. All right, we got some dicum on the brass. If you want, you could take some calipers and, you know, get this really precise and then scribe it onto the dicum that way. Or you can really just throw this up on here and scratch it in with an awl. I'll go ahead and mark the center while I'm here. 1 inch, 1/2 inch. And now with this drill bit, that is, man, dang near the exact perfect thickness of the tang. I'm gonna go ahead and drill here, and then connect the 2 holes with this specialty jigsaw blade. Okay, I'm calling it half success, half fail. It would appear the blade actually survived. It got pretty hot, but I guess it stayed under 400 at least, and the temper survived. The bolster is also on there good. It's also really pretty square. The downside, it is ugly as heck, boy. Oh, that's the good side. Ugh, tragic. But still, we are looking good enough that I definitely want to keep going, so let's keep going. All right, that's looking really good. So now I'm gonna grind the faces flat and I'm gonna plant 2 pins. I'm also gonna use the epoxy to kind of pretty up these edges right here and fill in that little hole. And by the way, I shelled out for a new grinder, not a sponsor, but I enjoyed that last one from Bucktool so much, and it was actually a woodworking belt sander, and it lasted me for a couple of years, so I went ahead and got the metalworking version, and so far it's a beast. Man, that is clean. Obligatory. Cuts paper. Pretty cool, huh? I'm not trying to humble brag here, just being totally honest. Not my best work. Not bad by any means. Definitely not bad. And definitely up there in terms of sharpness, but as far as the craftsmanship goes, I definitely think I could have done better. Especially the bevel line, it's really pretty wonky. I do like the handle. I will say the handle is probably the strongest part in terms of looks. And it's also pretty dang sharp. It's a real knife. So my final score for myself, not the best knife I ever made, but for the for the second Tanto that I ever made, I'm happy with that, I will say. I do like it a lot. If you kind of convince yourself that the wonky bevel is a stylistic choice, you can convince yourself there's nothing wrong with it. Good experience, very good experience. I would definitely say Homemade Weapons Part 1, Part 2 has been a success. My final message to you guys, you know how every old man has one of those stories? It was the summer of 1936. A man offered me 140 acres of workable farmland for a sip of my sarsaparilla, and I said no. Oh, I said, why would I need farmland? I'm gonna be an astronaut. I live with that every day. Guys, for the love of gosh, don't let that be you telling your great-great-grandchildren in 75 years about how you missed out on 15,000 free gold marks in Supremacy 1914. For the sake of you and for the sake of your grandchildren, I'm gonna go ahead and throw in 30 days of free premium membership just to sweeten the deal, just to get you to click on that link in the description. If that doesn't get you guys, I guess you just weren't made to be wealthy. I don't know what to say. Thank you very much, Supremacy 1914, for sponsoring the video. Thank you guys for watching. Talk to you later. Bye.